Hey, I thought I'd do a quick video for Final Fight LNS. This has generated far more interest than I thought. Kind of just playing it because it's I don't know. The rest of this year is going to be pretty dry for me in terms of releases. I have a lot of stuff going on next week, but now I'm just kind of playing whatever. So there's a couple modes here. There's just the basic arcade mode, which has like branching paths, kind of like very similar to Fight and Rage. Actually, there's different routes you can take, and I guess you get different final bosses. There's Capcom All-Stars, which is basically just a big sprite dump of all the other beat-em-ups they made back in that era. The balance is really awful in this mode. I don't see how it's possible to finish on anything other than the easy mode. Even on the easy mode, you know, I am pretty well versed in beat-em-ups. Like, it's like you feel like you're in insurmountable situations like almost all the time. And then I guess there's this mode here, which you need to beat the game 10 times to unlock. I assume this is where you unlock all the other characters. However, the developers of this are actually working on a new version called Fight LNS Ultimate, which is going to have like at least a dozen more characters, I think, and a bunch of quality of life and I guess balance changes. There's going to be some reworks for characters as well, so I can't really see myself beating this another 8 times when there's going to be a better version, probably by this time next month, and it's likely that I would have to unlock everything again. So I'm just going to go over the mechanics.
Come on, let's finish this.
So everyone has a run in this game. You also have a vertical dodge, kind of like Streets of Rage 3. The problem I have with this dodge is that it is not invincible at all. So a lot of times there's a lot of projectile spammers in this game, especially in the Capcom All-Stars mode, and you'll try to cancel out, but you'll get hit anyway because during this animation you have no invincibility frames whatsoever. And I think that's what feels off about this game. However, they do give you a parry. That little animation there. Obviously a lot of these sprites were not really designed with things like parrying and running in mind, so they have some pretty nice like sprite edits and things done so that the characters can perform all the actions that would be expected of a modern beat-em-up. If you block an attack, if something hits you while you do this, you basically have to do like a just frame input and you get an attack off it. Now what's special about the counter is it gives you more meter. In the upper left hand corner you'll see 300 out of 300. That is basically your move meter. Kind of like you know, MP or TP in Tales games. You can't do much of anything without it. So you get a little bit of a risk reward. However, I think one thing I hope that they will change in Ultimate is that they'll make the parry timing a little bit better, because it already is hard to parry in this game. Obviously a lot of these sprites are from the 90s, so they don't really have a lot of animation frames. It's not like modern, you know, 3D character action games where, you know, there's a very discernible wind up and tell for everything. A lot of times an enemy will just stand by you and they'll do like a two-frame animation, and you're expected to counter that and then immediately just frame over to the attack button to get the counter. I think that feels like it's a little bit too difficult, especially when you have no other defensive option besides this dodge, which has no iframes. Now what's cool about this game is it plays kind of like a modern Tales game where you can cancel anything into anything. So you can cancel pretty much any move into any other move. However, whether it actually hits the enemy or not is going to be dependent on the character. So I'm going to do a basic combo here. So I basically chained your whole moveset together there, but you can also do some pretty other cool stuff as well. Like I found a pretty good combo on bosses. Let's see if I can do that right now. This move here is like a grab. She doesn't do the rest of the move unless she hits them, so it's kind of like a command grab. You're also invincible during it as well, so that kind of helps a little bit. There's also a level up system in this game. Every time you get a certain amount of points, you will level up. It will fully heal your health. It'll give you, I think, like 5 more health and for your meter as well, so it actually is pretty nice that you can get a little bit of a bonus for leveling up, but I feel the balance of this game is really off. I don't really see how you're supposed to beat the other modes without just practicing a lot, because you get put in a lot of really bullshit situations really often in this game. But hopefully all these things will be changed in Ultimate. So I'll go ahead and I'll show off another character or two here. And I'll do some raw gameplay. I love South America, you know, Brazil and Uruguay, you know, those are where Fight and Rage came from, Uruguay, but same thing with China. They make a lot of games I really like playing, but they have a lot of incomprehensible, really awkward, rough design, and this game is no different. I feel like if you had a little bit more invincibility frames like readily available, the game would be more fun. So let's go ahead and show Carlos. I used to play Carlos in Final Fight 2.
Gotcha! Got it! Gotcha! Got it! Here I go! I'll show you!
Also, you get a cancel point off your running attack as well, so a lot of times you'll find yourself canceling from a run attack into something that either gives you iframes or has good crowd control.
Got it! I'm ready! Gotcha! Got it! Gotcha! Got it! Got it! I'm ready! Gotcha! Got it!
Movesets aren't too large, but I think most of the moves actually serve a use, and it seems like a lot of the characters will be getting reworked in the near future, so I guess that will help things. Obviously, some of these sprites are like 30 years old now, so there's not really a whole lot that can be done with them. I think it's a miracle that they've got stuff like universal running and parrying, countering and stuff. We have sprites that haven't been touched in ages. But some of the characters that are coming in the new version are from more recent games like Third Strike and things like that, so a lot of those sprites actually have those animations already ready.
Let's get this started! I'll show you! I'll show you! Gotcha! Got it! Saw that! Saw that! Gotcha! Got it! Got it! Gotcha! I'll show you! Got it! I'll show you!
I think that projectile is useless. Not everyone is created equal in this game, unfortunately. I don't know much about the meta, but there's definitely some characters that seem pretty suspect in terms of their
Saw that!
overall quality of their moveset.
Gotcha! Got it! Gotcha! Got it! I'll show you! Gotcha! Got it! I'll show you! Gotcha. Got it. Gotcha. Got it.
Love this track. Got that classic CPS2 era Q sound. Real feel to it. Damn. Carlos might be my new main. The only thing that's really useless in his kit is the, definitely the projectile. Alright, so let's go ahead and show the path system. Everyone's favorite and most memorable Final Fight look is definitely Elliot from Final Fight 2. Final Fight 2 is like the original direct-to-video Disney sequel. It's like no reason to play that game when you have Final Fight 3. Carlos was basically just guy with a sword. But obviously here he has a lot more of his own identity. good.
Gotcha. Got it. Saw that. Gotcha. Got it. Saw that. Saw that. Saw that. Gotcha. Got it. Gotcha.
See if I can show off the parry here. There you go.
Gotcha. Got it.
So you get a pretty good punish off it, but you have to like just frame it. I'm not sure why the timing is so strict.
Gotcha. Got it. Gotcha. Here I go. Gotcha. Gotcha. Got it.
See how needlessly difficult this game is? Some of the hitboxes feel off too. I know when Andor does his belly flop, it feels like the hitbox is way past his sprite. I very rarely am able to parry that attack. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. I just thought I'd do a quick overview. I probably won't be playing this too much until Ultimate comes out. If I had not found the guy that was working on that game, with creating all the trailers and stuff, then maybe I would continue playing this, but it's very likely I will have to beat the game another 10 times to unlock all those characters. So I've got a pretty good feel of it. If the game's going to be a lot better, hopefully it's better balanced and less frustrating. And then that'll probably be my next major project next month, honestly. Like I said, it's the end of the year, the time of year where it's mostly just big name AAA blockbuster Call of Duty type stuff coming out, which I obviously have no interest in. So I'll probably be playing a little bit more smaller stuff like this in the meantime. There's also another open BOR game called Streets of Rage 2X. There's supposed to be a new version of that dropping pretty soon. I did try the latest version off camera, and it's got some balancing issues, like the one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in a beat 'em up. I've been playing this shit for like 30 years. I've never seen a game where the enemies can actually pick up the food. A lot of people have been complaining about that. Also, the bosses have a ton of health. They are very cheap and unfun to fight. He said that he's going to be tweaking both of those things in the next update. So whenever that drops, I don't know when that will be. I'll be covering that as well. Anyway, if you guys are interested in either this version of the game or you want to watch the progress of the I guess the upgraded version, the expansion or whatever, go ahead and check the links in the description. Catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.